Pet mediations is the topic. Pet mediations, sharing custody of Meow Meow. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Lawyers and Mediators International show and podcast from instantmediations.com, where we discuss law and conflict resolution topics to educate both professionals and everyday people. Please remember, nothing contained in these episodes constitutes legal advice, so please talk to your lawyer as your facts or as cases are fact dependent. Hi, I'm Mac Pierre Louis, mediator, arbitrator, and attorney from Houston, Texas, working throughout Texas and Florida in online mediations. And with me is Zarna, my little cat here. And I'll introduce you to Frida in a minute, my dog. But let me pass the torch over.
Oh, she even introduced herself a little bit because she meowed. And then I'm Natalia Olowska-Pierre, advocate, mediator, arbitrator based in Warsaw, Poland. And
I'm Fran Brochstein in Texas. I mediate all over Texas with Zoom, thanks to Instant Mediations.
All right.
Thank you so much, Fran. And this is another series that we are going through with Fran. And the series called Mediation Tips by Fran. And you can see them all and catch this discussion or past and future shows on our website, instantmediations.com, on the Lawyer and Mediators International YouTube channel, and on its podcast, all conveniently available from the Instant Mediations app. Be sure to stay connected.
Yes, so as you can see today, we're doing a topic on pet mediations and sharing custody. And this has become a huge topic across the country, where in divorce cases mainly or separation agreements, pets are becoming a bone of contention between pet parents. And so we're introducing some of our pets. And again, this is my crazy cat Zarna today, who I'm going to let go because she's getting a little antsy. And I'll introduce you to my dog in a minute, but all three of us are dog lovers and cat lovers. And so we just wanted to talk to Fran briefly about what's going on in this space involving just splitting up custody of pets, because we all love our pets. And sometimes when relationships don't work out, we want to make sure that we stay in contact with our animal friends. So Fran, go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you for bringing up this topic. It never occurred to me to bring it up, but yes, I have dealt with pets in mediations and in litigation when I used to take clients as an attorney in Texas. So it is important. People are very passionate about their pets and they care about them deeply. And so many times, and many years ago in Judge Doug Warney's courtroom in Harris County, they had two high-priced attorneys. The couple was very wealthy. They resolved all their issues except the dog. And they actually had a trial about the dog. And Judge Warney suggested they get a second dog, which was not acceptable. So eventually how he ruled was wherever the children went, the dog went. And everyone was very happy with that. And I was just sitting in the courtroom waiting for my case to be called. And all the attorneys in the courtroom actually thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. So it's come up many times. And it's interesting about that. You have to let people talk about it. I just did a couple during COVID in Austin, and they had a pet. Husband made a lot more money than the wife, and he agreed to pay 75% for the dog's care for the rest of the dog's life. The wife would contribute 25%. And wherever their daughter went, the dog went. And everyone was very happy about that because they loved their dog and the daughter loved the dog. So that worked out really well for everyone concerned.
Thank you, Fran, for that. I need to tell you that my experience with pets, but before I go to that, Mark, can you introduce your accompanying, your comforting animal?
This furry little friend is named Frida, and Frida got her from a pet shelter some time ago. So never really been a dog lover in my life, but she just captured my heart. And so now she's getting cut off my cables.
How long have you been having her for?
So, the Frida is, give me 1 second. Let me Oh, wow. Cables. Oh, here we go. We're live on
We
air,
can
right?
predict she's going to have a brilliant career
Okay, one moment.
in social media. So to everybody who is listening and not watching, I need to tell that Frida has now been captured by all the cables that were.
Yeah. Yeah. Frida was cut in my cable. So Frida is a terrier retriever, and she is a lover of my sandals and my jackets, and trying to basically run me around crazy outside, trying to make sure she poops outside as well. That's been quite fun. But anyway, she's not going anywhere, aren't you, Frida?
Sniffing. Frida is sniffing and actually making noises to the microphone. So this is what
Yes.
explains what we are going through now.
All right, Frida,
So
go.
thank you for that. And Fran, I need to tell you that my experience as a lawyer and mediator in the territory of pets was that people were treating pets as an instrument of, or actually as a weapon against their other spouse or someone who were divorcing. The one case I had was that a lady actually appropriated the dog that belonged to her husband, being a premarital property, and the guy was not able to see the dog for years. So that was actually an instrument of torture to make him make some to soften him in terms of negotiating. But this strategy did not succeed for the woman. And the other thing I've been recently facing was also a situation where a young couple, no children, were divorcing. They also had an adopted pet. It was a dog. And the lady didn't allow the man to see the dog. She said, you know what? It's not going to be possible because every time you come, you leave the dog brokenhearted and I can't handle it. So I started explaining her that people have the same with children and they had to accommodate it somehow. So do you think that your family mediator's experience and things that you mediated for the benefit of the kids can also be used in pet mediations? What sort of skills you as a mediator will be using to make people agree on those essential issues concerning their pets?
Well, when you're telling your story, it reminded me, I did a mediation several years ago regarding horses, and I had forgotten about that. And apparently, the wife for temporary custody had the home, the marital home. Well, actually, it belonged to him before they married. She married a much older man. And she was very unhappy because basically everything he had was separate property. She thought she was going to get 50%, but it was everything she'd accumulated before they married. And she had the house, the kid, the dogs and cats, and the horses. And she refused to feed the horses. So eventually the animal protection came out and took the horses. She wouldn't tell him where the horses were. So at mediation, I finally got her to admit where the horses were so he could go get his horses because they were very precious to him. And it was very upsetting to me because she wasn't feeding them or giving them water. So they were literally about to die. And he loved those horses. So the mediation was not 100% successful, but he was able to find the horses and retain them and get them back. So people fight over probably almost any kind of animal that there is. So it's very important. People love their animals. They want to take care of them. And if you have an animal, you should take care of it and do what's right for the animal. So it was very hard for me as an animal lover to watch someone that would abuse horses.
Okay. So please tell us some more anecdotes or more stories, because I'm pretty sure that people want to kind of know, well, what else is typical? What else have you seen that might relate to them?
I did one many years ago at the Dispute Resolution Center in Houston, and the gentleman had purchased the dog before marriage, so it was his separate property. They had been married for quite a number of years. The dog was elderly, and during the divorce, both husband and wife moved into apartments, and the apartments were not the right place for that dog because the dog needed to be walked frequently. I spent a lot of time with the gentleman. I looked at the pictures of the dog. We talked about the dog. And at the end of the day, the dog actually went to live with his soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law because she had a yard. She loved the dog. She would take care of the dog. They could both visit the dog. And even through the man was actually crying during the mediation, but he knew it was the right thing for the animal long term, that the dog's quality of life would be much better living with his soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law. And at the end of the day, everyone was happy.
That's an example of how people really come to a solution, and this is really what mediation is for. However, so many times it rather comes to disagreement. However, I need to tell you that what my experience was showing is that when people were splitting, actually facing the divorce, they were acquiring animals to comfort them and their kids. It is being said, and it's just as a scientific and common knowledge, that pets, especially cats, can be very comforting for the kids in this situation of emotional stress concerning the breakout of the relationship or the splitting of the family. And so the animal is being acquired for the kid, and that is something that is helping. However, I have also seen a situation where a man bought a cat and introduced it to the house where they had 3 daughters, but the mother, so his wife, was actually allergic to cats. So the daughters started loving the cats immediately. However, it was making their mom cry and swallow it throughout the entire body. So pets really can serve different functions to people. And please let us hear some more from your experience, Fran.
I'm allergic to cats, but I have a lot of cats because they're all rescues. And so I have learned over the years that if I pet a cat, I have to go wash my hands thoroughly, and I never touch my face, and I do take allergy medication. So yes, as a cat person allergic to cats, I still have them and I still love them. I just try to behave. And thank God I'm not one of those people severely allergic to cats where their throat closes up and that type of thing. But that is another form of abuse where I have seen couples that will bring in an animal knowing their spouse is highly allergic, and then the kids get attached, and it really is cruel. And then what's really cruel is when they want a divorce, and then the person that brought the cat in wants to make this allergic person keep the cat because it's about messing with the kids, because they know the kids would be hurt. And they're like, I don't want the cat stays with you. And the person that's allergic is going, no, I can't keep the cat. You take the cat. So then it's really tragic, because who ends up suffering the most are the kids, because they get attached. And there are people that do that on purpose to kind of point the finger and say to the other, to let the kids, look how evil your parent is. She won't keep the cat. He or she won't keep the cat. Well, they're allergic. So it's a manipulative technique I've seen in the past too.
Yeah, one of the experience I've had, I was doing mediation once, where it involved 2 dogs, and the couple, they were an older couple, they saw these dogs as their children, like very, very close to them. And it actually turned out to be resolved pretty easily by the parents, by the pet parents, by the couple agreeing to put into the divorce judgment a paragraph that basically said that the parties are agreed to mutually share the animals. And so we were very specific when it came to, well, who's going to keep the pet X, where they're going to be. So we put some terms, that way, but we also left it open for them to decide how they're going to share the animal. So sometimes it doesn't have to get into a real deep custody battle. Sometimes it just needs to be mentioned just for the animal's protection, to make sure that both pet parents are going to have access to them. But Fran, give us more anecdotes because you've had a lot more that we have.
Well, I just thought of another one. Many, many years ago, a friend of mine's cat died. And at midnight, she showed up at her ex-husband's house with the dead cat so that their son could say goodbye to the dead cat. The cops got called because the husband was like, there's a crazy woman with a dead cat on my front porch. And this couple had divorced, but they were still having a lot of ongoing issues. And unfortunately, in this case, the dead cat was their latest issue. So the cops came out and made her take the cat and leave because they had a small child. I think he was 7 or 8 years old, and the kid was asleep. She somehow wanted her ex to wake the child up so he could say goodbye. I thought that was a little dramatic, but she was she was very upset about her cat dying. And as a pet owner for many, many years, I could certainly understand. It's very hard when you lose a pet. Unfortunately, we have a lot of geriatric cats in our home. And so I have learned the hard way about putting cats to sleep. It's a horrible experience.
Here in Poland, the cats, dogs, generally pets and other animals are still treated as just immovable, so as things and objects. That means that you can regulate them the same way as you can regulate car. So the the title can be transferred to someone upon divorce or separation. However, it would be very rare to seek judgment on it. And this is where I see the mediation has a wonderful role to play, because in mediation, you can easily and flexibly regulate issues that otherwise would be probably seen as a little crazy in the court ruling. What do you think about it, Fran?
Well, Natalia, you've hit the nail on the head. I agree. Technically, pets in Texas are just property like any other kind of property. But that's what I like so much about mediation. We can deal with issues that judges don't want to hear about. And people are attached to their pets, especially with COVID. They've been home alone with them for over a year. They're very attached. They may be pets, but really most people treat them like children. I mean, I say hello and goodbye to the cats when I leave the house. Tell them to watch the house when I'm gone. So, it's very important that we as mediators work on that and make people feel comfortable and empower them to try to come up with a solution that works for their families. And Mac is apparently playing with a cat or dog right now.
Well, yeah,
the dog.
Frida is just needs some attention. But what I was gonna bring up is, yes, I was briefly looking at the law on this, and yes, it is property. That's how they're treated. And this is actually, I saw a U.S. Supreme Court case back from, I think it was the 1880s, that was declaring that pets were property. So it's pretty settled. Although if state legislatures want to, revisit, no. If state legislators want to revisit the property element and
to those who are not viewing but listening, Frida is absolutely fascinated by the wires that Mac has all around his headphone set. So headset. So actually, she is pretty technical.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those life experiences. Don't do this again. Okay.
Be careful with pets on live shows. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Everything can go wrong. But anyway, as I was saying, the law is pretty subtle when it comes to treating pets as property. And so whenever you're doing a divorce settlement or a judge is disposing of a case, you're going to treat the animal as if it's a piece of property that's meant to be divided 50-50, typically, right? But usually, I'm thinking that most judges have a heart where they're going to say that a pet's best interest should be considered as well, right? You're not going to want to put the pet with the pet parent who's going to mistreat the animal or not be kind to the animal. But if two pet parents really want the pet to go with them, then I assume that there's going to be some kind of sharing arrangement that's going to be worked out.
And I need to tell you on top that recent examples of online mediation shows, but that pets can serve an important role in mediation. When you are doing an online mediation, you can stay with your pet as a comforting element when you are having a difficult dispute with your other party, be it a spouse, partner, or other family relationship like a sister or brother. And having said that, we strongly advise and encourage everybody who is facing the problem of sharing custody over the pet to go for mediation for that, because this is the only solution, as we can see across Texas, Florida, and Poland, where you can adopt a solution that will be enforceable and working, similar to custody over children, and will enable to protect the rights of everybody who is engaged in this, and will take the pet into account, even though treated as a property. So please stay tuned for our next sessions with Fran. Thank you so much for being with us today. And please remember, everybody who is watching or listening, that you can also view this on the Instant Mediations app or instantmediations.com, and also on Lawyers and Mediators YouTube channel. And please, next series is going to happen in a week, and we'll be happy to host Fran again for an interesting topic that we'll be posting on the social media, so that you can come prepare and listen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing up this important topic. It was really fun and something I never considered doing.
All right, guys, until next time.